Vande Guru Param. We are now towards the end of the fourth.
Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahma Agno Brahmana Hutam Brahma Iva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. This is a well-known and familiar verse usually chanted before eating food. But that is incidental. This verse has a deep philosophical meaning. Lord Krishna here is talking about the highest level of Vedantic teaching. Now there are three levels of Vedantic teaching. In the first level is recognizing the fact that consciousness principle is separate from the body-mind complex. So we say, I have an Atma, is the first level of learning. In the second level, we learn that the consciousness principle is the same behind every body-mind complex. Containers are many, but content is one. So from the standpoint of consciousness, we are all one. Now we say, I am the Atma with this body-mind complex. Then the third and final Vedantic lesson is that consciousness is Satyam and the external world, including the body-mind complex, is Mithya. So consciousness is a cause and everything else is a product. Therefore, the final teaching is everything is Brahman. Once we know that effect, then there is an attitudinal change that there is no matter separate from Brahman. Just as there are no ornaments separate from gold. Once I know gold is the essence, then no matter how many ornaments are there, I know that gold, which is inherent in all of them, is one. So we learn that behind everything in this world, there is only one essence, and that is Brahman. And the one who has this Atma Ekatva Darshanam. In this verse, the man with such a vision who sees non-duality in and through duality is called Brahma Karma Samadhi. He is a Jnani. Samadhi here means absorption, total absorption. One whose mind is absorbed, such a person does not lose sight of the fact that Brahman is in and through all his actions, his karmas. Karmas here mean the transactions. Such a wise person is very alert. In and all through his transaction, he does not lose sight that Brahman is inherent in everything. Swamiji gives the example of the train journey. When you are going to, suppose Delhi is your destination, there are many intermediate stations in between where we get down and get back our final destination. Then such a person who does all the transaction, but his subconscious mind is aware of the truth. He is a Jnana Nishta. And that's why he's called as a Brahma Karma Samadhina. In this verse, Lord Krishna is talking about a Grahastha Jnani who continues to perform his daily rituals. He says, even though as a Grahastha, he performs this ritual, in the back of his mind, he knows everything is Brahman. So, Brahma Agno, the fire in which it is being offered is also Brahman. Brahmana Hutam, the one who is offering is also a Brahman. Brahma Iva Tena Gantavyam. Brahman alone can be reached by one who sees Brahman in every action. So he is a Brahma Karma Samadhina. Thus for him, there is only one substance called Brahman. All the others are different names and forms only. I'll conclude with a verse from second Mundaka, verse 11, which says, Brahman is in front of you. It is also behind you. It is in the south and also in the north. It is above and also below.
This is an important verse, and therefore in our tradition, it's whenever we are having food, it is a practice to remember this mantra and chant this mantra. At least 3 times a day, we have a main meal, and then your coffee and snacks would be another 3 times. At least 6 times a day, if we can take an opportunity to chant this mantra.
So this is the 25th verse from the 4th chapter. Daivame vapare yajna yogina paryupasate brahmagna vapare yajna yagne naivopajuhvati. So the important message of this shloka is actually expressed in the second line. So therefore, I will deal with the second line first. Swami Param says that until shloka 24, Bhagwan has beautifully covered the topic of Jnana. However, From verse 25 onwards, Sri Krishna elaborates on the glory of Jnana and this knowledge, Jnana Stuti or Jnana Mahima. From this shloka onwards and into the next so many shlokas, Bhagwan Sri Krishna tells us about many disciplines and sadhanas. There are many sadhanas detailed in the scriptures, but Bhagwan concentrates on about 12 or 13 of them and explains them to us. To start with, the Swami Param says, the word yajna is used to mean sadhana. Every sadhana is called yajna. For instance, japa yajna or upvasa yajna. The reason behind this is that in all the different sadhanas, there is a common factor. That is, the Lord is in them, in all of them. All yajnas are dedicated to the Lord for spiritual growth. We seek inner purity from God. And therefore, since prayer, spiritual purity, etc. are involved, all sadhanas are called yajna. Actually, even Bhagwan says, even the art of eating, he calls it a yajna. If you consider it that as an offering, that whatever you eat is an offering to the Lord. The offering part of it makes it a yajna. Therefore, from the grossest activity of eating to everything that we offer to the Lord, we can make it a yajna. So to this list of yajnas, Sri Krishna adds self-knowledge or jnanam also as a yajna. Jnanam is a yajna, and this Brahma Jnana yajna is the greatest spiritual sadhana. All other yajnas or sadhanas are subservient to this, Swamiji says. This is not to say that the other yajnas and sadhanas are not important, but only Jnana yajna alone leads you to Brahman. The other yajnas will lead you to Jnana yajna, but only Jnana yajna leads to the ultimate. So Swami Param goes on to say that all sadhanas are parampara sadhana, but only Jnana yajna is sakshat sadhana. So from this verse onwards, various yajnas and sadhanas are described. In this verse, Sri Krishna takes up Jnana yajna. Bhagwan says, Brahma Jnana itself is a yajna. In a yajna, there is a fire and something is offered as an oblation. With respect to Brahma Jnana and yajna, he says that Paramatma is the fire and the lower self or the ego is the oblation. The higher self is offered into the higher self is the fire into which we offer the lower self. In this manner, Swami Param says that the lower I has to be resolved into the higher I, like the wave merges into the ocean. And when the Guru tells us this, we have to shift our vision from the small I to the bigger I. So the bigger I has no name form and it always is. So what should we do? Yajna Juhvati. Swami Param says in this Yajna Juhvati, Yajna refers to Jivatma or the lower I. And this Yajna is offered into Brahmagna or the fire of Brahman, the higher I or the supreme higher consciousness. Now this offering is not a physical act or something, it is figurative. There is no physical change involved, but there is a change of understanding and attitude. It is a cognitive change called Jnana Yajna. And who does this offering? Yagne Naiva, or the Jivatma or the lower I. Even in Navavida Bhakti, the 9 types of devotion, Shravana, Kirtana, Pada Sevana, etc., the final level of bhakti is Atma Nivedana. In all the other levels of bhakti, we offer something and we remain separate as the offerer. But in Atma Nivedana, we are offering ourselves or the offering of oneself or one's ego. So they are kind of Atma Nivedana Bhakti and Jnana Yajna are kind of similar. So this is also this thing in the 18th chapter where he says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. So this is the meaning of the second line. But in the first line, Sri Krishna is introducing another yajna, yogina apare dayava yajna paryupasate. Everybody cannot practice this jnana yajna because it requires sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, a lot of qualification. Therefore, many others practice Daiva Yajna or the Vedic rituals in which various devatas are invoked, like Surya or Brihaspati, Lakshmi, whatever. So this is the ritualistic Yajna. So we have the ritualistic Yajna on one hand and the Brahma Yajna on the other. Thank you.
Thanks, Aruna, for a nice explanation. As always, your explanation is loved by a lot of people. I get a lot of good feedback about your explanations.
So until the 33rd verse, the glory of Jnana Yoga has been talked about. So now we know that it is all great and we need to get to it. But what are the means to actually acquire it? That is what is being told in verse 34. So it is a very important verse for people who actually want to transition from Karma Yoga to Jnana Yoga. It is quite similar to the Pariksha Lokan verse in which it also tells how you should approach to get this knowledge. So now here mainly 4 things are talked about. What are the qualifications of a guru, of a student, of the knowledge itself, and how the method of the teaching should be. In the very beginning, it is told that you cannot just do it by yourself. That is very clear. You need some external support, some external guidance. And that is twofold. One, you need the Shastra support. Because there are so many books which talk about the objective world, knowing about the other things other than you. But here we are trying to understand about our own self. So all those other books are not going to help us. If I want to know about something very far away, I could use a telescope. Very close thing, I could use a microscope. But here, if I want to know just about my own eyes, then these external instruments are not useful. This is an analogy to understand how the objective and subjective worlds are different in terms of how one can understand it. So to see my own eyes, I need a mirror. In the same way, to understand my own self, I need a special mirror. And this special mirror is called Shastra, the Shastra Darpana. It's a very special type of a mirror. So I cannot myself use it. So that's where I need help, another help. Now this another help is of a guru. So if I have the wrong password, for example, for the right location, then it is useless. Either I will not get in, or if I get in, I may not find the right information. Even if I find the right information, I might have so many doubts, and then it is as good as not finding it. So a guru is the one who knows how to use this special mirror, hold it in the right angle, not face the back side in front of you. And so he knows how to impart that right information to you. And then if is there any dust on that mirror, then he knows how to clean it for you so that all the knowledge is crystal clear, is obstacle free. Now, there are so many types of gurus in our lives who will initiate us, inspire us. But here, those type of gurus are not talked about. Here, very specific teaching guru is talked about who is going to impart this self-knowledge to us. Now, how this knowledge is, it is not, as I was talking about here, the qualification of the knowledge is also mentioned. The knowledge is not that you just, Krishna is not saying I am God, so you just believe me because what I say is right. He is continuously being questioned by Arjuna and he's answering every time. So here, this type of knowledge is the one in which the questions are entertained. Actually, they are promoted, encouraged. And this is why an active listening is required from the student's end also. So now the qualification of student is also there, that one has to be very actively listening, has to very thinking, understanding type of a student is needed so that he can also question and then later on assimilate on what the teaching has been. And on the other side, the teaching also has to be coherent so that there is samanvay in what all has been taught. The teacher cannot say one thing on day 1 and then another thing on day 30, let's say. It has all to be coherent. So now the student has to be very active and asking questions to make sure he is very clear. If it is unlike japa, in which you have been just told Om Namah Shivaya, you just say that and then you say it. You don't ask any questions why, what will happen. If they say, you just do it. But here you have to understand every word. What is tat, what is tvam, what is asi, how they make sense together. Everything you have to understand for you to make it meaningful for you. So for that, the teacher that you need is, like in another shloka we saw, Shrotriya Brahmanishta. Brahmanishta is the one, for example, in this verse, they have used the terms Jnaninaha Tattvadarshinaha. Those wise people who have actually seen the world themselves and they are situated in Brahman. Those type of teachers only should teach you, and they should have done it through a sampradaya. Don't go from any other way. And they should be a very good communicator. If they know it and they don't know how to communicate, how to clarify your doubts, it's useless again. So that is the qualification of the teacher. On the other side, what type of a student it should be? We should be a patra to get the good knowledge. So we have to have two things. One is jigyasa and one is vinaya. So jigyasa is pariprashnena. So you have to ask the right question, and vinaya is pranipaten. So you have to go do prostration, and vinaya is something very mental. So you have to show it by doing prostration, namaskar to your guru. So now the guru knows, okay, you have jigyasa and you have vinaya, so you are the right student. And you have to also do sevaya, it is written. You have to do two things. One is, if there is any lingering impurity in your mind, then seva can remove that. And secondly, that is to establish rapport with your teacher, so that now there is intimacy, now the knowledge can transfer properly. So may you get this knowledge that with the pranipaten, by going and asking the right question with the right attitude, do the seva, and now these people who have understood this in knowledge, they will impart it to you. So this is the whole way how you can achieve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ulas. Very nice and a very clear explanation. It looks like this is the first time that you have come to speak. I wish we had given you more chances.
So my shlok is 4.33, and it says, Shreyana Dravya Mayata Yajna Jnana Prantapa Sarva Karma Akhilam Parya Jnane Parisamayapayate. Which means, O Arjuna, Jnana Yajna is superior to all other yajnas involving materials. O Arjuna, every action without exception culminates in knowledge. Here Krishna glorifies Jnana Yajna. He says it is greater than the Prayam Maya Yajna, which we would understand as Karma Yajna. Prayam means material. Sarva Karma Akhila Parya Jnane Parisamapatye. This line has two meanings. All karmas culminate in yajna, like all cooked food should culminate with tripti of the person who has consumed it. All yajnas, rather than jnana yajna, involves traveling from finitude to finitude. Only jnana yajna liberates a seeker. Karma yajna as it's incomplete without jnana yajna. But jnana yajna is impossible without karma yajna. Like primary school is mandatory for secondary school. Likewise, the second meaning is all karma phala are included in jnana phala. Sambhayate means ananta bhavati jnana, which is superior to karma, because all karma phalams are included in jnana phala. Logic is that all karma phalas are finite because actions are finite and results are going to be finite. Jnana phala leads us to Purnatvam, which is Aham Satya Jnana Anantam Brahmasmi. Can infinite be included in finite? No, right? So, for example, Bangalore, can it be included in India? Yes. But can India be included in Bangalore? No, right? Similarly, Swamiji has given another example of a huge freshwater lake. When you have a huge freshwater lake in front of you, a person will not go to fresh water from the borewell. Similarly, Karma Yoga is not complete until we do Jnana Yoga. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Pallavi, for a nice explanation of an important verse. We'll proceed. So, Sukanya, it is your time.
Yajnatvana punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava ena bhutanya sheshena drakshyasyatmanya somagi. This chapter deals with rebirth, punarjanma, and incarnation of the Lord and the purpose of such avatars. Later part of the chapter deals with karma sannyasa. So this chapter is also called Karma Brahmarpana Yoga. So it is also the Lord Krishna teaches here what is right action, right attitude, in action, inaction, and forbidden action. This is karma sannyasa, after knowing which Krishna declares you are free from the bondage of samsara. He whose actions are free from desire and whose actions are burned by the knowledge, we just call him the wise. Now, what is that knowledge, knowing which one gives up attachment? What are the sadhanas to attain? And what are the benefits of attaining that knowledge? This is the central theme of this chapter. Before going to the verse, I would like to outline the above. Shifting of identity from anatma, body-mind complex, to owning up as oneself is jnana karma sannyasa, renunciation of attachment for results of action. The jnani lets anatma engage in action as per prarabdha and has no identification or expectations from such action. He is neither a karta nor a bhokta. Then sadhana. What are the sadhanas required for attaining atmajnana? Karma yoga, nishkama karma, without sankalpa and without expecting karma phala, that is, actions with Ishvararpana buddhi and accepting phala as Ishvara prasada. Then upasana, faith in scriptures, reverence to the Guru's teachings, sensory discipline, shift from world vision to God vision, Sravana, Manana, and Nididhyasa. Having fulfilled all this, he will attain knowledge, supreme bliss. Now about Jnana phalam. A Jnani enjoys the benefit of Jnanam. He has a sense of Purnatvam, freedom from sense of smallness, freedom from sense of insignificance, freedom from the fear of mortality, and Jnanam removes limitations caused by Nama and Rupa to proclaim Purnatvam. He has no delusions. Jnani sees the universe as the cause and effect. He sees the various Nama Rupa of the universe as projection of Brahman through Maya. He has no Dehabhimana. He is one with Brahman. As Ramana says, there is only one being that can be the reality. The illuminator of existence is consciousness. After attaining Jnanam, the ego, I, my family, my property, my status, all this vanishes and is replaced by my country, the universe, etc. He sees the indweller in every living being. That is identity with the universe. Now, coming to the verse. Yajnatva, by gaining that knowledge, na yasyasi, you will not get into mohameva, delusion in this manner, punar, again. Ena, by that knowledge, drakshati, you will see, bhutani keshena, all beings without exception, my, in me, and ato atmani, as well as in yourself. Hey Pandava, after gaining that knowledge, you will not get into delusion in this manner again. That knowledge helps you see all beings in me and in yourself, meaning Jivatma and Paramatma, the individual consciousness and the cosmic consciousness are one and the same. After explaining the glory of knowledge and the various sadhanas to attain, Lord Krishna talks about two main jnana phalams in this verse. They are Mohanasha, that end of conflicts in life, and Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam. Conflicts in life, though Arjuna was well versed in Dharma Shastra and was aware of his duties, obligations as a Kshatriya, he still had the conflict whether to go ahead with the war or go back and take up sannyasa. Any amount of information you have will not guarantee you against conflicts, because conflicts arise due to ignorance. Because of attachment, Arjuna had the fear of facing the consequences, fear of losing his near and dear ones. Krishna says self-knowledge is the only remedy to be free of conflicts. The second benefit of this Jnana phalam is, as explained in the second line of the verse, Ena bhutanya sheshena drakshasyatman yathomayi jivatma paramatma aikyam. Krishna says, after you attain this knowledge, you will know that the entire creation is Brahman, all-pervading, as in this sloka, Vishwadharam Gagana Sadasham. Just as the space supports the entire creation, the whole world rests in Brahman, and you are the Brahman. The entire creation, which is resting in cosmic self, is also resting in individual self. Jivatma, Paramatma are one and the same. A Jnani sees himself in all beings, and he sees Brahman in himself. This Jnana destroys delusion born out of Maya. Understanding this verse and contemplating at this junction where we have the pandemic crisis is more appropriate. So, finally, I would like to conclude. After after gaining that knowledge, you will not get any delusions. You will see me in all beings and in yourself. Finally, I conclude. This message of Lord Krishna is for the entire humanity with special reference to Grihasthas who have multiple roles to perform and conflicts at every stage of life. So they need to devote some time to acquire self-knowledge. This will help them resolve conflicts and share love and compassion with all the creations of the world. World becomes a beautiful place. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sukanya. First time we are seeing you after a long time, and thank you for your message, clear message. Madhu, it is your time.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Gurubhyo Namaha.
Yes, we can.
For me, this is the first time, and then I just went through this. The verse which I would be covering is 4.36. It goes this way: Api chedasi papebhyaha sarvebhyaha papakrutama sarvam gnana plavenaiva vrijinam santarishyasi. When I looked at this particular verse itself, and also complementing what Swamiji's commentary on this, it's a very, very simple meaning, which basically say that even if you are the worst sinner of all the sinners, you will cross over the entire ocean of sin by the boat of knowledge. If I were to just go into the every bit and bit of the Sanskrit word versus how he explains the inner meaning of this as such. Api chedasi, basically even if you are, Papa Krutamaha, the worst sinner, again, sarvebhyaha pavebhyaha, amongst all the sinners, Papa Krutamaha, you are the worst sinner. Suppose you consider that way. Santarishyasi, you will be easily able to cross over the entire ocean of sin, basically the sarvam vrijina, the entire ocean of sin. Jnana plavenaiva, with the boat of knowledge. Though this verse itself looks very simple, it is very, very loaded in terms of the meaning, what it conveys, and the depth of it as such. To get a context to this whole verse itself, I have to just go back to how this whole chapter itself has been constructed as such. When I looked at Swamiji's explanation on this, very beautifully he has classified the whole 42 verses of chapter 4 across three main topics, though it is a very seamless transition from one to the other. Verse 1 to 15 is primarily focused around Ishvara Avataraha, depicting again the technical difference between Jiva Janma, which is the Manava Janma, versus the Ishvara Avatara. Then the verse 16 to 24 is Jnana Karma Sannyasa. Again, he goes on explaining that how the whole sannyasa itself is two types. One is a physical method, which is a very popular method of taking a sannyasa or getting into a monkship, or the inner renunciation. Then the verse 25 onwards until the end is the Gnana Sadhana Phalam. The reason why I thought that I should bring this context to this particular sloka itself is that how this, the benefit of the whole attaining the knowledge and then understanding the importance of the knowledge itself is alluded to, starting from 25 to 42 verses. Coming back to this particular verse, picking up from what Sukanya ji was mentioning, she spoke about Punar Moha Nashaha and Aikya towards amalgamation of the Lord itself. Understanding of the Lord itself is one of the two of the benefits which he explains in verse 35. If I just have to move into this particular verse itself, one of the key topics which he talks about in this particular verse is that Sarva Papa Nashaha. Santarishyasi Sarvam Jnana Plavena Eva. The benefit of the self-knowledge, which is what is the crux of the whole Krishna telling Arjuna through and in turn to all of us as such. The benefit of the self-knowledge is the destruction of all your papa, which cannot be done by any other method, because rest everything is outwardly, which to an extent it is a prayachitta karma, which he goes on to explain basically anadi avidaya vasanaya. You will do sankalpa in avani avittam. Basically what it says is whatever sankalpa we do, It is against the millions and millions of births what we would have done, and hence the karma or the papa or the punya which you have accumulated, you will be trying to neutralize what you have already done. Therefore, Krishna compares papam acquiring to vrujinam arnavam, which you cannot cross over normally, but for having the knowledge of this self-knowledge itself as such. Again, Sanchita Papa Vinashana Lingam, Tat Pranamami Sadashiva Lingam. That's how he says that how the whole Papa itself could be taken out as a part of this self-knowledge. Krishna goes on to say that Apiche the Sarvebhyaha Papebhyaha Papa Krutama. Assume that suppose you are the sinner amongst all the sinners. Sarvam Santarishasi, you need not worry. You need not feel guilty of it. And then this Swamiji very jokingly, he says that, does it mean that Swamiji, now that I have understood the self-knowledge, now I know the Ishvara Aikya Bhava, then can I start making the Papa again? For which Krishna again comes back and then he concludes saying that Jnana plave naiva eva. Here in this context, plavaha is the boat. He says, so Jnana meva plavaha. It's basically, it says that the boat which is the full of Jnana is the one which is Vrujana, which is a Sagar, Papa Sagara, is the one which will lead you to cross over this. So finally to conclude, so Jnanam is the best method and the only method for crossing the whole ocean of this through the Jnana message. So to conclude, the benefits which up till now, which when you look at what is the sadhanam or the benefit which you would see, one is the mohanashaha, followed by aikya darshanam, and then finally sarva papa nashaha through this particular sloka. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madhu. Very excellent chanting, excellent sharing, excellent explanation. We enjoyed your presentation. We now go to Kirti. Kirti, it is your time.
Yo Namaha. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, madam, audible. Please go ahead.
Verse 37. Yathai damsi samiddhognir bhasmasat kurute Arjuna jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute thatha. The meaning and translation of this verse is, O Arjuna, yatha as samiddaha, blazing, agnihi, fire, kurute, so does, edhamsi, pieces of wood, bhasmasat, to ashes, thatha, so also, jnanagnihi, fire of knowledge, knowledge being the fire. Sarva karmani, all actions. As the well-kindled blazing fire, lit with the wood, reduces it to ashes, O Arjuna, so also the fire of knowledge reduces to ashes all actions. In this verse, knowledge is compared to a huge conflagration of fire, and karmas are compared to all types of actions, reactions, and objects. We all have a heap of karmas attached to each of us, consisting of reactions of sinful and righteous deeds performed over infinite times. If we endeavor to exhaust these karmas by reaping their results, it will take many more lifetimes, and in the meantime, further karmas will accumulate in endless process. In this verse, Sri Krishna assures Arjuna that knowledge has the power to burn our heap of karmas in this lifetime itself. Jnanagnihi sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute Arjuna. This is understood better as follows. This is a small story. The Vedas describes the parents of Agni as two kindling fire sticks, whose loving action creates him. Just born, he is poetically presented as a tender baby who needs loving attention lest he vanishes. With care, he sparks and smokes. Then the flames grow stronger. The flames grow stronger than the parents. Finally, so strong that he devours what created him. Agni is the essence of knowledge of existence. Jnanagnihi is the inner natural will aspiring for the highest knowledge. It destroys ignorance and all delusions and removes nescience. Inwardly, Jnanagni impels consciousness, perception, discernment, and awareness. Karma becomes transformed to Jnana by Jnanagnihi. Swami Paramarthananda explains the word Samiddaha Agni and Karmanashanam in detail in this verse. He says, a small flame cannot burn down wood or objects. Instead of burning them down, it can get subdued. The fire has to be kindled and fanned, and the wood must be dry and ready to burn. Similarly, half-baked knowledge is like a small flame and can easily slip out of our minds, and wisdom can get lost. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and Shraddha help to kindle Jnana Yogyata stage. Swami Param recommends that until knowledge gets stabilized, one must continue to study from one Acharya or Parampara. Confusion and doubts can be cleared. Understanding of the self and the ultimate reality Brahman crystallizes. The fire of knowledge gets bigger and burns with more clarity and purity. Jnanagnihi becomes Samidda Agnihi. Otherwise, everything will appear right and wrong at the same time, and confusion will continue to prevail. As the previous speaker said, there are 4 phalams in a Jnana Yogi realizes. They are Sarva Mohanashanam, Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam Darshanam, Sarva Papa Nashanam. In this verse, Karma Nashanam is explained. What are the karmas reduced to ashes or nullified by Agni? Sanchita karma is the punya and papa acquired in the past life. Prarabdha karma is the portion of the past karma which has matured and is effective in the present janma. Agami karma is acquired through present action. These 3 karmas are responsible for punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam cyclic process. For a jnani, when self-knowledge dawns and stabilizes, these phalams help to destroy sanchita karma, exhaust prarabdha karma, and agami karma is avoided. But prarabdha karma continues to produce results, but the gnani's mind is samam in spite of favorable or unfavorable events. Events do not change, but response to them changes. Gnani goes beyond papa and punya karma phalam, transcends dharma and adharma, and is on the path to attain moksha. Jnana is able to take us back to the original state, to understand the ultimate reality, the Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. Recently, Sir explained the fruits of the Jnanagni and supreme knowledge. Vidyate hridaya granti, chhidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante chasya karmani, tasmin drishte paravare. Avidya, kama karma perish, and it is a state when fulfillment is fulfilled. Thank you, sir, for kindling the small flame in us to a bigger one with Vedantic knowledge to understand the truth about ourselves and Brahman. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Another very clear presentation. Really enjoyed. Today we were listening to so many people, many of them presenting for the first time. But it is amazing how people have understood and also are very clearly able to explain. Thank you. We enjoyed. Dr. Jagdish, it is your time, sir.
Gurubhyo Namaha. Shraddhan labhate gnanam tatparaha samyattendriyaha gnanam labhya param shantim achirena adhigacchati. That's the sloka 439. We are in the end of Gnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, having finished Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga. This chapter tells us about action, inaction, and forbidden action. And in the previous slokas tells us about the various sacrifices or the yagnas to be done for reaching the goal. Now coming to the shloka as such, labhate gnanam, he obtains knowledge. But how? Shraddhavan tatparaha samyatsendriyaha. There are three important words for this entire shloka. Shraddhavan, faith; tatparaha, devotion; samyatsendriyaha, subdued desires. So he obtains knowledge about these three words, and then gnanam labdhya, having obtained the knowledge, the transcendental knowledge. Now, the last one, adhigachati param shanti achirena. Adhigachati is that he attains. Param shanti, the supreme peace. Achirena, at once. Now, to get the supreme peace or param shanti, achirena, at once, he has to do three exercises by Krishna's teaching. Shraddha, tatparaha, samyaktendriyaha. First one, let's take Shraddha, that by which an individual understands readily the exact import of the scriptural text, as well as the pregnant words of the advices of the preceptor. Ullas has already beautifully said this. There are only a few more technical words giving the same reiteration and fortification of what he has said. Now, the Guru as well as the scriptures, both are equally important. In fact, Adi Shankara says, Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Dridho Vishwasaha Shraddhaha. That means faith means firm confidence in the words of the Guru and the scriptures. But it's equally important that such a Guru has realized the absolute truth and teaching according to Vedic scriptures by himself. That means he must be a genuine Guru and not the fly-by-type operators. Now, that was the word Shraddha first. The second one we move to, because just with knowledge, a person may be still indolent. He may be plain lazy. He may be very brilliant, but he is plain lazy. That will not do. So Krishna moves to the second quality, tatparaha, one who is devoted, diligent, and steadfast. He must pour out his mind and intellect into the scheme with passion, thorough passion, and live the saying, as you think, so you become. It cannot be a 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Zoom spirituality or a Sunday religion. Come to the third one, samyatvendriyaha. He has got the knowledge. Let's assume that he's been very diligent. Even when one has this faith and diligence, he may not have control of the senses, which is as essential, because sense organs seduce us away into life of sensuousness, and excessive sensuous life and absolute God life are antithesis to one another. They are just opposite to each other. Where the one is, the other cannot be. So all the three, Shraddha, Tatparaha, and Samyaktendriya, are equally important. We can recall what Guruji quoted us sometime in one of our previous classes about Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who, when asked by a devotee, when will I have vision of God, took him straight, immersed him in the Ganges, and when the devotee said, I will die of want of air to breathe, Guru coolly replied, such a quest for God alone will reveal him to you. Now, Krishna, like a good teacher, in the subsequent shloka, that is shloka 40, which will be done by Anita, after telling about the three qualifications of this shloka, hastens to add in the 40th shloka, for the ignorant, the faithless, and the doubting one, there is neither this world nor the wide world beyond. It's a warning of failure, like our teachers warn us before our final exams. Now, academically speaking, the teachings of the 39th shloka are comparable to Shveteshwara Upanishad 6.23. It goes, Yasya deve para bhakti yata deve tatha guru sasyate katika hayarartha prakashante mahatmanaha. Essentially means the imports of all Vedic knowledge is revealed within the hearts of only those who engage with unflinching faith in devotion towards the Guru and the God. Well, finally, Krishna in chapter 10, shloka 10 says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajata priti purvakam dadhami buddhi yogam tam yena mapayanti. Krishna holds a reward for all of us if we are good students. To those who are ceaselessly united with him and who worship him with immense love, he lovingly grants that mental disposition by which they can reach him. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Very nice presentation of a very highly quoted verse. Whenever Shraddha is, this verse is quoted. Thank you very much. We enjoyed your presentation. We go to the next speaker, that is Anita. It is your time.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Agnyascha Ashraddhanancha Samsya Atmana Vinashyati Nyayam Loke Sthiti Na Para Na Sukham Samsya Atmanaha. This is the 40th verse. This talks of the literal meaning is the ignorant who has no faith, who has a doubting mind perishes. For one who has a doubting mind, there is neither this world nor the next nor happiness. In the previous verses, having pointed out the qualification needed in a seeker to gain knowledge or self-realization, in this verse, Bhagavan Krishna explains the three main negative traits or obstacles or disqualifications that prevent us from acquiring that knowledge. They are ignorance, lack of faith, and constant doubting. Among these, he says, the person with samshayaha or the doubting nature perishes. In the previous verse, Dr. Jagdish explained about the positive qualification, and here I am talking about the negative. These negative thoughts apply even to our lives, both in Vyavaharika and Paramarthika journey. The first one I am talking about is Ajnanaha. Unless one comes across a taste of the scriptures, they spread their entire life being totally ignorant of the eternal reality or Brahman. It is this ignorance that becomes an obstacle towards the knowledge of self-realization or Jivan Mukti. Fortunate are we who have had the chance to come across spiritual knowledge, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and the Guru. The second negative trait is Ashraddhaha. Krishna says, the one who lacks faith will never fully gain this knowledge. As mentioned earlier, we have to process unflinching faith in Vedanta Pramana, in our teacher, in ourselves, and the truth of the eternal essence. Until we gain the knowledge of self-realization, without faith, we will not last long in the formidable journey. If one has ashraddha in religious practices, or scriptures, or the Guru, such a person does not have any basis for moksha. The third negative trait is samshayaha, or doubting nature. And here, Krishna says, among the three, the doubting natured person is the worst one and who will face a lot of problems. Such a person will find it difficult to gain knowledge, to be sure of knowledge, understudy, skepticism, and inquiry is absolutely important. And this is even discussed in Vedanta and recommended by our spiritual teachers who recommend Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. But constant doubt only without taking efforts to resolve such doubts will become a huge roadblock in gaining spiritual knowledge, and such persons perish as they are destroyed. Here Swamiji gives us two types of persons. This was also mentioned by Madhusudan in verse 36. The first type of person who is not informed, is not worldly wise, but has faith in scriptures, he prays, does puja, etc. Such a person, due to his lack of knowledge, without worldly wisdom, ajnani, but having shraddha, will not get inaloka sukham or ananda from the world, but will attain paraloka sukham. The second type of person who does not believe in scriptures, karma, punya, papa, swargam or narakam, but believes only in the worldly pleasures of this world. Whereas he is well informed and has got worldly knowledge. He is a jnana, but he does not have shraddha. Then such a person will get ihaloka sukham, but not paraloka sukham. Whereas the samshyatman, due to his doubting nature and everything, can neither have ihaloka sukham na paraloka sukham. So agnyascha ashraddhanancha samsyatmam vinashyati. All persons with any of these three type of negative traits perish in life. So truth involves risk, but life requires to have basic trust, whether with family or at work, importantly with Vedanta Pramana. Therefore, there must be Shraddha. Na Sukham Samshayaha Atmanaha. So concludingly, the man who knows not the self is ruined, and as also a man who has no faith in teaching and the words of his Guru, and the man whose mind is full of doubts. No doubt, the ignorant and the faithless are ruined, but not to the same extent as a man of doubting mind. He is the most sinful of all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anita. Another very brilliant presentation. It's so nice to hear so much talent that we have. This is exactly what we want. With the verse is given within the available time, focus on the verse and go as per our guide. And you've done a brilliant job. Thank you very much. We now come to the last presentation for today, and that is Vishwanath. It is your time, Vishwanath.
So in the previous verse 40, Krishna dealt with negative traits as explained by Anita ji. And Lord Krishna says among 3 negative traits, ignorance, lack of faith, which is ashraddha, and samshaya, the doubt. For the constantly doubting person, there is no happiness either in this world or in the next. So this verse 41 talks about renouncing all the actions through knowledge, which is Atma Jnana, and destroying the doubts, the third element that was talked about in the verse 40, which is an impediment for every action. And this verse emphasizes on remaining alert. The key word to look at is Atmavantam, the person who is alert at all times in the Vyavaharik world. Such a Jnani, such a person will progress in the spiritual path. So let us look at the verse. Yoga samnyasta karmanam jnana samchinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibaddanti dhananjaya. So keywords, Dhananjaya is obviously Arjuna. Karmani is all actions. Na nibandhanti is do not bind. The person with knowledge, the jnani, the karma or the actions don't bind. Yoga samnyasta karmanam, the one who has renounced all the actions through the knowledge. And jnana samchinna samshayam, one who has destroyed all the doubts by the knowledge. The Atmavantam, and who is mindful. In this verse, Lord Krishna is summarizing the sadhana phalam. Every person has to go through 3 levels of sadhanas. The first sadhana is the keyword yoga samnyastas karmanam. One who has renounced all the actions through the knowledge. And here, yoga means jnanam. What type of jnanam are we talking here? I am Atma, which is akarta. Here, akarta Atma Jnanam is called yoga. By this yoga, a person gets detached from all actions because actions belong to body-mind complex. A jnani allows the body-mind complex to function in this world, but he has no attachment towards the actions and its phalas. He has renounced all the karma attachments and identification towards the actions that he does. Here, yoga samnyasta karmanam refers to Shravana stage. Then goes to the second stage where the second line, Jnana samchinna samshayam. In this word, samshayam means doubt, which is again emphasized in verse 40 also. The doubt is because of incomplete Atmajnana or ignorance. Samchinna means dispelled or destroyed or removed. Means a jnani has negated all the doubts through the conviction of Atmajnana. This is through Mananam, where jnani internalizes the Atmajnana and arrives at a strong conviction that Atmajnana is ultimate goal of human life. Thus, all his doubts gets destroyed through Mananam. The final stage is Nididhyasana stage, where the term Atmavantam is very important here. In the second line refers to Jnani remaining alert throughout the day. In fact, he remains alert to avoid forgetfulness of scriptural teachings for his entire life till he shreds this body. How does he remain alert and not forget that he is a jnani? It is through nididhyasana. So, one who has done Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, all the three stages, karma cannot bind such a jnani. Karmani na nibaddhanti. His doubts have been dispelled by the knowledge and he is always alert and mindful. Atmavantan. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishwanath, for another very clear presentation and for highlighting what this verse is supposed to say, particularly about the Atmavantam, about being mindful of spiritual knowledge all the time. With that, we come to the end of today's class. I will formally conclude with Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramayah. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhak Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.